listen, you know what will never not be cool, and this might change over the next few days. TLDR, I'm really, really, really enjoying Final Fantasy 15. And importantly, the funny part, it's really annoying some people because they hate Final Fantasy 15. And just watching it is like, it's kind of funny to see. It's like, wait, what? This is all good. And it seems what happened is Final Fantasy 15 launched badly. I get it. It launched badly, full of bugs, kind of got a cyberpunk feel is what I'm getting. And I'm playing the Royal Edition, which is just the Windows Edition. That's the version I'm playing. And that's all like fixed. And it's fine. Like, it fast travels a lot, so you're not in the car that much. It does all sorts of stuff. The frame rate's good. There's not many bugs or any, even little minor animation glitches is all I've seen. Literally, it's not crashed or anything. And overall, I'm really enjoying it. But today, we were dumping into Chapter 2 and 3, where Pappy's dead, and now it's time to reset with the world. And I decided, because I talked about this yesterday, is I feel very over leveled and my MSQ is like level 3 and I'm level 10 or 11 at the start of the day. So it's like, okay, I'm going to plow through some story and get that done. And that was really cool. I met up with this wonderful guy called Core, who's like a general or sideman of the king. And he introduced me to the royal weapons, where I got a giant battle axe. I got something else that I haven't used there. I think it was like a polearm or a sword that does massive damage, but it hurts you, which is not good. But it did allow me to clobber a lot of people. Like, it does tons and tons of damage, which is great. I've really started to get to grips with the combat system now, and I think, and you guys can maybe help me on this, I think visually it looks very messy, but when you're playing it, it's very much like Bayonetta, but not as deep as that. So when I streamed Bayonetta, people were like, this just looks like gibberish to me on the screen, and they didn't like it. And I get that feeling with 15, because for me, it actually makes perfect sense what's going on, besides the occasional getting hit in the back by something off screen, and I'm like, well, there's not much I can do about that. Those kind of things. But the combat system is coming together nicely. I'm still not clear on magic. But one thing I did learn today is phasing, where you can literally just hold the dodge button and he will just phase and avoid all damage. But you're obviously not doing any damage. You're just kind of like Neo, just flopping around the place and doing things, which is cool. Going into the MSQ then, so the idea was to like try and get back into the city and infiltrate through. I heard a news report that Luna Freya, people who think Luna Freya is dead are having a seance, or like posting flowers at her wedding dress, which is kind of weird. But I had to take down a military base. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Got to take down a military base, which we did with finding giant Magitech mechs. And it very much felt like, coming from FF14, like attacking one of the Garlemald stations. It was identical to that. I was like, this is just like playing a third-person action version of Final Fantasy 14. This is exactly what I feel when we're doing Praetorium or something, is exactly like this. And it was super fun and exciting to do that, although it did introduce some boss. I think, I can't remember a goddamn name. It's like Lucy or something. I was like, this reminds me of when Nero and the rest of the Power Rangers and Lucia came into the game, and they landed in that ship, and I said that as a meme as the ship approached. And then sure enough, wearing all the exact Magitech armor was identical, but brought them down pretty quickly because, of course, it was level 3. We're a little over leveled, so it wasn't difficult to do that. Then I got to do my very first dungeon. This has me very excited for what's in the future, because it was dark, it was claustrophobic, it had nice mini-bosses in there, and a really genuinely, and I'm surprised the game pulls this off, scary moment. This game pulls off horror better than I've seen a lot of games do, while also being super goofy and fun. It's so Final Fantasy. That's why I'm enjoying it. This is what I missed from 16, is the silly goofiness of rocking around in the car, listening to like the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack or the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack, and the guys just shooting the noise while they're driving, to being like a horror game 5 minutes later. And it's so fun. It's so cool. So dungeons, I'm very much looking forward to doing more of those and exploring what the royal weapons are. I then decided to clean up the area of the map that we were kind of done with. And I had to get like Cindy's wax. Like, the amount of double entendre and stuff they're doing with Cindy is so in your face that I just picture now. Although at first I was like, okay, Cindy's model is just so egregious and silly that it's annoying. But now I kind of get that they're doing it so tongue-in-cheek. Like, it's so tongue-in-cheek. Like, they know it's ridiculous. Like, if Cindy refuels your car, she, like, wipes her boobs on the windscreen and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is over the top. And then they're like, I need you to get my wax so you can make it all slippery. You can see they're just like, this is so stupid. So get Cindy to refuel the car. We can't do it ourselves between 4 of us. We need Cindy to do it.
Wow, she's looking prettier than ever.
That's ridiculous. Now I get why they needed Cindy to refuel the car. And having such fun with it that I kind of enjoyed it. So I cleaned up like one half of the map, did some more hunts, and then decided, right, this east side is kind of done. Let's move over to the west side a little bit. So I'm trying to obviously reduce my travel time a bit. So I'm like, okay, what quests are in this immediate area? Let's do those. Let's do those. But so far I am doing every side quest and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I kind of already foresaw in my chat if people were like, is he doing MSQ yet? Getting a bit of a 14 vibe. And it's like, no, he's doing some side stuff. But he's also having a really good time doing it. So it's fine. And I am having a good time doing it. So I'm kind of wondering if that will tip at some point of like, just do the MSQ. Just do the MSQ. Do the MSQ. I have made some rules at this point, which is I am no longer going to spend money on hotels. I'm so over-leveled, and I do want Ignis to cook for me, because he's learned so many recipes. So many recipes. It's actually painful how many recipes he's learning. No matter what we do, he learns a new recipe, and he'll tell me all about his new recipe. And I can imagine the thumbnail for this video is about recipes and recipes and recipes, but I've decided that that's what I'm going to do so I can get the food buff and things like that, and move on with that level of gameplay.
That's it! I've come up with a new recipe.
Wow, this looks awesome.
Dude, oh, this is gonna be a party in my mouth.
I dare say I can recreate this. That's it! I've come up with a new recipe.
What I do want to talk about here is something you guys who have played this game, or at least played the demo, probably know about, but I didn't. I did not play the demo, and I didn't do any of those things. I found a chocobo farm where the chocobos were terrified because a behemoth is stalking the plains, and its scent is terrifying them. I cannot believe we're fighting a behemoth already. Behemoths usually don't appear till like at least the latter third of the game, and they're terrifying. They'll drop meteors on you and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, well, we have to check this out, right? So off I go to do it, and apparently this is from the demo, but you can imagine what it was like for me is just stumbling onto this. So try and put yourself in my shoes of one of the... And in fact, getting there, I suspected something was going on. So what they've built is a very strict arena shrouded by like mountainous rocks that you can't climb up unless you go up a very specific path. And I was like, okay, they're building to something here where they either want the huge vista of the area. There's something epic up here. And they had this like Jurassic Park style something moving through the trees, and all the trees are collapsing. It was really intense. And then the fog starts to descend as you go higher and higher. And then it starts, and you have this stealth mission with the behemoth. It's like creeping around in the fog, and it's beautiful. It's so breathtakingly beautiful that I was taken aback. As somebody who wasn't aware of this and hadn't seen it, I was like so enthralled that this is the same game that's letting me wear like a Three Amigos outfit. And go fishing and, you know, have these silly, like, whoa, you caught a giant fish and let's go for a run. I did a run with Gladio. We had a little beach run, like this silly, ridiculous stuff of feeding the cat. And now it's like one of the best set pieces of horror. And it reminded very much of House of the Dragon, when it's very much at the end of the season. Not to be too spoilerific here, but there's a scene where one of the dragons rises out of the smoke, and you're like, oh my god, it's enormous. It's terrifying. And you're like, that is so cool. And here it was in video game form. Unfortunately, the fight wasn't that epic. It was gimmicky. It was like, use the fire barrels to blow it up because they still wanted to maintain the intensity of the behemoth. But ultimately, it's a disappointing fight where, like, by my point, again, over-leveled. I get it. Gladio like hit it for like 10k, like the damage cap, and it was dead. I was like, oh, okay, Behemoth's dead now. But the moment the set piece was fantastic. Like, it was really, really cool. And I've no doubt there are some, they're really messing with creature size, because as we were approaching a river, there's some Nessies in the river who are enormous, and then the Behemoth comes up. So I'm really curious how they're going to do boss fights. I obviously don't expect FF16 style encounters, but there's books that mention like that Ramu and Ifrit are in existence, or they're part of their lore. So I'm expecting they'll show up at some point, and as to what they're going to be like, I'm genuinely excited. So pay attention for that one when we get there, guys. But so far, as you can tell by my face, I'm having a really, really good time in this game, and I'm shocked. I honestly expected and came into this game really worried that it would be kind of awful, and I was gonna be, I even said before I started, I asked my stream audience, I was like, is this gonna be the first one that I stop playing because I don't like it? Because I'm not committed to finish anything. Like, if I'm not having a good time, what's the point in me streaming and playing something for entertainment where I'm miserable? That doesn't work. Unless this game goes off a cliff, which it may do. This could rank very highly in my tier list. So remember this face, and then we'll see what it looks like in the future. All right? I'll see you again. Bye, guys.